2021. I'm Renee Slansky. I am a professional dating and relationship coach, and I help women from around the world find and build the relationship they desire and deserve. Now, my lives are a little bit more different from my usual videos that I put on my channel. You do have the opportunity to be able to ask me questions if you want and interact, and I will try to get back to any questions that come either on this live or even later on below in the comments. So feel free to drop what it is that you want to be able to ask me, especially if it is relevant to what I'm talking about today. And I will try to get back to you if it is appropriate. Now, what I wanted to talk about in particular in this live is I want to talk about something that I'm not only really passionate about, but something that I feel is really key for literally everybody on the entire planet. And that is purpose. I have found that over my years of coaching men and women, one of the key things that has really stuck out is that a lot of women in particular get to a point where they say, okay, Renee, I understand that I'm struggling with this part of my life and I've learned more about men and relationships, but I really don't have a clue on what is my purpose and what is it that I'm meant to be doing on this earth. So what I wanted to talk about in this live, and it is a little bit different to say my normal videos, I'm not making this so much about dating and relationships. However, you will understand once you watch this live how key having purpose is when it comes to setting you up for healthy love and relationships. But what I wanted to talk about is, number one, what is purpose? I think a lot of people out there are really getting confused the difference between purpose, passion, and career. Number two, why it's so incredibly important and why it will actually affect your love life, who you connect with, how happy you feel in that relationship, and just your own journey. Number three, I want to talk about the difference between passion and purpose, because I feel like a lot of people actually get confused in that. And I also want to talk about how to pinpoint your purpose, give you a little bit of a practical exercise if you're not aware, and basically also what's the difference between purpose and career. So if you do have a question, pop it in now, and if I will be looking at the questions probably at the end of this live. However, if I feel that I see something and it comes up and it's relevant to what I'm talking about, I'll try to answer it then as well. Okay, so what is purpose? Okay, let's be really clear about this. Purpose is something that each and every single one of you has been born with. For anybody who is feeling lost, for anybody who's feeling down, for anyone who feels like you've got things going okay in life, but something is missing, it's probably because you are lacking clear direction on what it is that your purpose is. And people often say to me, okay, Renee, but how do you know if you're living your purpose? I mean, what exactly is your purpose? And this is why I encourage you to take a couple of notes whenever I do these lives, because I really drop a lot of truth bombs in here and a lot of wisdom, and it's something that I want you to be able to think and digest later on. My personal definition of purpose is this. Purpose is where you have a sense of peace, meeting a sense of urgency. Purpose isn't just about self. Purpose is about contribution. It is about place, and it is about contributing to something and leaving a legacy that is larger than yourself. Purpose is about ultimate fulfillment, doing what you have called and created to do at this time in history. The crazy thing is I think that we forget just how special each and every one of us is. And if you're someone who struggles with anxiety, if you're someone who struggles with low self-esteem, or you're really feeling just lost, especially after last year, I really believe that this video is going to help you, because if there is one thing that I can honestly say is the most important thing that you need to focus on first before you go out and meet someone, before you build your relationship, before you do any of that, is this. Really define what your purpose is. Discover what your purpose is. Why have you been placed on this earth? Why do you think that you have been born at such a time as this? Why do you think that you have certain skills, certain passions, certain things that you're good at, certain things that people say, wow, you make a really good speaker, or you're a really good listener, or wow, did you realize that that actually really helped a lot of people? Purpose is never just about self, yet it is vital that you tap into self to realize your purpose. Purpose is about other people. And I think this is where sometimes we get confused between what is passion and what is purpose. For example, you might think, okay, Renee, well, I'm really passionate about cooking, okay? Is it my purpose then to be a chef? There is a difference between purpose, passion, and career. Now, ideally, if you can combine all three, then you're going to obviously have a really fulfilling life, because you're going to be making money through what you do on a daily basis, enhancing your passion at the same time. However, I don't want you to feel that you have to necessarily make your purpose your career or your passion a part of your purpose. However, the two definitely between passion and purpose do actually align with each other as well. Passion is more about what brings you pleasure, okay? What actually makes you happy. And it's usually more to do about self. Purpose, however, is about others. Purpose is about contribution. Purpose is about having, as I said, that sense of urgency and that sense of peace where you feel, I need to do this because if I don't, who will? It isn't necessarily meaning that you have to go out and save the world. It doesn't mean that you have to become the president of the United States. It doesn't mean that you have to do something on a grand scale. However, there should be some sort of fire in your heart that says, this is my duty. And I believe that if you are fully aware of what your purpose is, there is a sense of duty and almost obligation attached to it, which brings that sense of urgency. Now, the sense of peace that comes with purpose is basically once you're doing it, you realize that you actually feel really deeply fulfilled. For example, I had no idea that I was going to be a dating and relationship coach. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be, out of all the things, I wanted to be an ice skater. I'd never ice skated in my life. I must have watched the Olympic Games, Torval and Dean or something like that back in the day. I wanted to be a famous actress, or I wanted to be an ice skater. Now, my course of my life and the way that God set me up led me to the point where one day everything fell in place and I realized that I had this purpose and this skill within me all along, which led me to the path of being able to be a dating and relationship coach. And this is usually a good way if you're someone who struggles with knowing what it is that you are meant to be doing, is ask yourself, what are you good at? Or what do other people say that you're good at? What natural skills that you have, whether you are a great writer, whether you're a great speaker, whether you're someone who is a great listener. What are you passionate about? What things interest you? What things actually make you happy? What things kind of get you to a point where you almost have this righteous injustice if this doesn't get done, okay? What things bring you pleasure? And then you start to align them and work out, how can I actually meld what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about to a point where I can actually make it more than just about myself? For example, I was someone that used to always help people. I used to always give advice to women. I used to counsel from a young age, and it wasn't necessarily because I asked to do it. It was like a natural gift that I had. It was a natural thing. I was interested and passionate about relationships. I would read books and books and books on relationships. I would attend seminars even from a really young age. I had absolutely no idea that eventually that would lead me to doing what it is what I do today. However, my interests and my passions and my natural skills eventually pinpointed to me what it is that my purpose was going to be. I was also, and still am, I think, a really good writer. I used to write all the time. And that's basically how I got into what I do today. For those that don't know my backstory, is I started writing my blog, The Dating Directory, back in 2013. And that became the #1 blog in Australia. And then that led me to writing for all different publications around the world, and eventually being asked to be a dating coach. The truth is that I denied my purpose when I first was presented with it. I had a few people ask me to coach, and I said no. I said, no, that's not what I'm meant to do. And it wasn't until I realized that when I looked back on my life, with my life skills that I had, with the things that I was passionate about, with the crappy relationships that I had been through, which had allowed me to grow in wisdom, that my purpose suddenly unfolded in front of me. And this is just something that I want to point out now. Purpose isn't necessarily something that happens all at once. Purpose is something that can evolve over time. Purpose is something that happens over a lifetime, not just a season. You might have a certain purpose or a certain mandate over your life. Maybe you're somebody who is meant to help people. Maybe you're someone who's meant to use your cooking skills in order to be able to educate people how to eat healthy and bring healthy lifestyle habits. Maybe your purpose is actually teaching children. I think sometimes we think that purpose has to be something so great that it has to be recognized by the world in order for us to feel worthy of it. And that's not necessarily the truth. For example, if you're a school teacher, that could very well be a part of your purpose because you have this heart, this talent, and this passion to help children learn. However, I think that we need to understand that in different seasons of our lifetime, our purpose will reveal itself differently to us. For example, when I first started writing, I thought, okay, my purpose is to basically educate women through my writing. However, as I started to develop my skills and as I started to have more demand, that again stretched me and stretched my capacity. My purpose started to evolve as well. And that's when I became a dating coach. That's when I started doing my programs, and that's when I started doing YouTube and reaching millions of people around the world. Purpose is something that won't necessarily happen all at once and won't necessarily reveal itself to you magically overnight, because you as a human are always evolving and growing. So therefore your purpose will most likely be evolving and growing. I personally believe as a Christian that we have been born with a God-given purpose in each and every one of us. And it's why some of you might have a really deep sense of unrest in your life because you still haven't worked out what that is. What am I here to do on this earth? What have I got these skills for? Why have I got these skills, or why have I got this unrest? And remember that any sort of frustration is an opportunity for revelation. It's an opportunity to really ask yourself, okay, if I'm frustrated about this, or if I have righteous anger about this, or if I'm feeling some sort of unsettlement, why is this happening? Now, as you start to go through life, I want you to start to think of purpose as something that you cannot miss out on. However, it is something that you can definitely minimize if you don't learn to fully step into it without fear. And purpose can sometimes, and discovering your purpose is something that can be a little bit of a trial and error. For example, you might think, okay, well, maybe I'm meant to be a fitness instructor because I'm passionate about seeing transformation. Or maybe I'm meant to be a business coach because I'm passionate about business and strategies. And then you might try it and it might fail. You might try to start a business and it might fail. Just because you might fail in a moment, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are writing off your purpose. I believe that purpose is something that you can never actually get rid of because you've literally been born with it. It's actually in you. Just like love, we're born with love in us. It's not something that we can ever get rid of. However, it is obviously something that we can diminish and we can squash, and we cannot be in tune to it if we don't know how to water it. Purpose is something that you will have to water every single day. And that doesn't necessarily mean doing massive journaling or massive brainstorming or getting mentors and coaches. Sometimes purpose, and really knowing what your purpose is, might just be sitting and thinking, sitting and praying, sitting and meditating. It might just simply be trying something. It might simply be just showing up for that day as who you are in that moment and knowing that that is enough. And I think that one of the things I found is when you really discover your purpose, when you're like, yes, this is what sets my heart on fire. This is what is actually bigger than myself. This is what I know and I feel in my heart that I'm called to do. Truth is, it can be really overwhelming. Really overwhelming. And that's because when you start to step into something that requires more of you, which is what purpose is, it pushes you to your capacity. It stretches you and grows you. It develops you. And that's a good thing, because scientifically speaking, I'm just going to get a little bit scientific here, the average human only operates with 5% of their brain. The average athlete operates at 20% of their brain. So it's no wonder why we get overwhelmed and we get scared as soon as we realize what it is that we're meant to do. Because all of a sudden, we realize just how much we're needed and how much of this strong desire we have, but we may not have a plan on how to be able to reach it. So that's why, I can hear Luna trying to get in. Come on, Luna, come on. I always do this. I close the door and then she tries to get in. So that's why I feel that, if you want to focus on something this year in 2021, especially after the last year that we had, I want you to really start to pinpoint what you believe your purpose is. And as I said, if you're not sure how to do that, the thing that I suggest to do is ask yourself, what am I naturally good at? Or what do other people tell me that I'm good at? What am I passionate about? What gives me a sense of urgency, like I need to do this because if I don't do it, no one else will. And then all you need to do is just start joining the dots. Join the dots to kind of work out, well, maybe I could try this avenue and maybe I could try that avenue. As I said, your true purpose and how you are meant to either monetize it or maximize it or live it on a daily basis will be something that you will only know through trial and error and over time. And even then, once you reach this stage, you may realize that all of a sudden you've been called to this stage instead. Either way, as I said at the beginning of this live, if you have some sort of restlessness in your relationship or in yourself, I really encourage you to ask yourself, are you aware of what your purpose is and are you living your purpose? And the reason is because of this. Because we are all individuals, we cannot rely on somebody else to fulfill us. That has to come from you. Happiness is an inside job, and the ultimate fulfillment of your relationship not only is about who you align with, but also who you are as a person and how well you align with yourself. What I have experienced personally in the past, and what a lot of my clients have experienced, and I know what a lot of maybe you ladies and even you guys out there can experience, is you feel that happiness comes when you meet your next person. Happiness comes when I'm finally accepted by my father. Happiness comes when I'm finally loved by a man. Happiness comes when I finally get married. And then if those things happen, you realize, well, hang on a second, why do I still feel this emptiness? Or what you do is you then start to put that person or that event on a pedestal and you never feel that you can fully reach it or accept it because you've actually elevated it above yourself. If you're a woman who really, really wants to get married, if you're a woman who really, really wants to find the dream love and find the dream relationship, the last thing that I want you to do is put that above your purpose. Because purpose is what will ultimately bring ultimate fulfillment, ultimate happiness, and it will be what actually helps you be a better partner in a relationship and find a better partner for you as well. If you're somebody who feels lost, chances are you will attract somebody who also feels lost. Because what we tend to think that we are, we tend to then attract back. We operate from a place of I am subconsciously. If you think I am lonely, chances are you'll find yourself in situations which will magnify that loneliness, because that's what happens in the brain. It's your reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is a part of your brain that basically is almost like your little GPS location, okay? And whatever you program into that GPS location, I am lonely, I'm lost, I'm confused, I have no purpose, I'm worthless, that is what your brain will start to look for. But the good thing is that we can actually switch that around and turn it into something positive. Whether it is, I have my purpose, I am living my purpose. Even if you're not right now, you can still speak it over your life. Your brain will start to look for that as well. And this is why purpose is so important. Because your relationship cannot save you. Your relationship should only ever add to your happiness, and it should definitely help align with what your ultimate purpose in life is. If you're somebody, for example, where you start to realize, well, my purpose is to be able to build people up. My purpose is to be able to help people realize their dreams. My purpose is maybe then to be a business coach. And then if you go and be with somebody who basically squashes your dream, you'll realize that that person can't align with your purpose. And your purpose is ultimately what will keep you most fulfilled. It is what will also help you keep your own identity in a relationship. One of the key things that I see a lot of women do, not so much men, but a lot of women do, which then pushes men away, is you feel like you've got your own life going on, or you think that the relationship is going to be the next thing you need to be happy, and then you get in a relationship and you totally lose your identity. Personally, this is something that I did when I finally got into my dream relationship with my fiance, is I put him on a pedestal. I put love on a pedestal. I was like, yes, I'm finally living my teachings. I'm finally doing what it is that I always dreamed to do. And I made him my purpose. I made our relationship our purpose. And I completely lost who I was and what I was actually created for, because I thought that that was the answer. And you know what it did? It completely destroyed my relationship. Not gonna lie. It got me to a point where he pulled back so much because he was like, who is this woman? She's just a woman in a shadow now. She's just a woman who kind of just sits there and she's lost her own individuality and identity. And I'm not saying he's wrong, because he wasn't wrong. He was absolutely right. And I've spoken to literally hundreds of women who've experienced the same thing, where you feel that you know who you are, and then as soon as you get into a relationship, it's like you lose yourself. And a big part of that is because you either have put love on such a big pedestal that you don't believe you're worthy of it and you make it your sole focus, or you don't know your own purpose outside of a relationship. Who are you? What is your story? These are powerful questions that you can ask yourself. Do you believe that you are someone that is actually called to do more on this earth? I had a girl email me the other week, and she said to me a couple of things that she was struggling with me. But you know what else she said to me? She said, I believe that I'm meant to be the next president of the United States. And I was like, that is awesome. Do you have a dream that big? And to be able to boldly speak it and say it is a really brave thing to be able to do. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Who are you outside of any relationship? What do you believe your purpose to be? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? And what sort of person do you want to align with that is going to support that purpose? Because I can guarantee you, if you finally discover what your purpose is and then you align with someone else who does not support it, someone who goes against it, or someone who is lost, you will either want to end that relationship, which is fair enough, or what you'll do is you'll start to lose yourself and you'll start to comply to who they are. This is why I wanted to talk about this. And I also just wanted to encourage you people out there who maybe you're in the first baby steps of really starting to discover your purpose. Whether that is starting a new charity, whether that is starting a new business, it takes guts and it's hard. And I just want you for you to know that it is a journey. Don't expect immediate results when you're only just still in the planting stage. The fruit is the last thing to grow on a tree. And I think sometimes we can be so excited about our dreams, so excited about doing what it is that we know that we're called to do, that when it doesn't happen instantly overnight, we kind of sit there and go, oh, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Maybe this isn't my thing. Oh, and that whole imposter syndrome starts to sink in. That voice in our head that says, no, you're a bad coach, or you're a bad teacher, or you're a bad mum. Because even being a mum can be a purpose. Let's not diminish what it is that we truly know we're called to do, just because it might not be on the same status level as somebody else. Who you are is unique. No one else can do what you have been called to do. No one else is you. That already is your superpower. And that already is key to what your purpose could actually be. So guys, drop some comments. Let me know if this is helping you. I get very passionate about this, as you can tell, because I believe that, there is just something so incredible about realizing what you've been put on this earth to do and then actually doing something about it. Because that's the thing. Some of you might actually be aware of what you're meant to do, but you're too scared to take that first step. And it really frustrates me as a coach when I see people play it safe. And playing it safe, I understand why we do it, because we're scared of failure. We don't feel that we can do it enough. We believe we need to have more resources. But the truth is that you've got two battles. You've got the battle of either playing it safe and never being fully satisfied and always asking yourself, what if? Or you've got the battle of actually going out there, giving it a go. Maybe you fail, maybe you don't, but knowing that at least you tried. And so that's what I want you to do this year. I want you to actually try. If that's all you can do, as I said, discovering your purpose might be something that happens over 5 years until you really realize how you can use it effectively, okay? For some people, they might have started their journey off as a fitness trainer and they realize that later on, their purpose wasn't just to train and be healthy. That was something that we're passionate about. Their purpose was actually helping other people to maximize their passion for fitness, okay? And if you're stuck on this sort of stuff, all it takes is maybe a couple of hours of just brainstorming, sitting down and putting the time into asking yourself, okay, well, what do I really think that I'm good at here? And what do I actually want to do? So I'm just going to look at some of the questions that are coming through, guys, and I'll try to answer them. Okay, so how to overcome the fear of missing out when you're in a good relationship but keep thinking if there is someone better out there? That's a really good question. It's not really related to what I'm saying, but it is something that I think I'm going to do a YouTube video on that instead, because it's something that requires a little bit more depth. Fear of missing out in general can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. For example, purpose. If you have a fear of missing out on your purpose, it gives you a sense of urgency to actually do something about it. However, if you have a fear of missing out on certain things because you have a scarcity mindset, that obviously isn't going to work for you. And so if you're in a relationship and you have a fear of missing out on someone better, you have to ask yourself why. Is it because you're settling for second best? Or is it because you are just trying to self-sabotage because you're scared to actually invest more into this person and you're just trying to find an excuse to put a wall around yourself? So I hope that answered your question. But I will be doing a live on that soon. All right, guys. Well, I might leave it at that. I like to only do these lives for about half an hour or so. I hope that this video has blessed you. I hope that it has really helped you start to get those wheels turning and get excited about what your purpose could possibly be. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these motivational sort of videos. If you do want to have a session with me, I am taking on clients at the moment, rather, as it's the start of a brand new year and I have openings. The link to work with me and all my socials are down below. And of course, I've got lots of free guides for you girls, and I've got a free private Facebook group for you girls as well. All right, have a blessed 2021. Here's to making this year absolutely incredible, no matter where it goes or how it goes. And I will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now. Oh, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up as well, and share this with someone that might need to see it. Bye for now.